Welcome back to the podcast, Redeemed.
Redeemed.
It's not.
Potato.
It's not. It's actually not.
She can clean up and post.
We have a team of editors.
We don't have a team of editors. Literally, we were at church, I think on Wednesday, Preston was there, and he had said, we'll fix it in post. I'm like, no, we won't.
He did. It was awesome.
It's my best thing that I've taught everybody.
I don't
It was
remember what we were
awesome.
talking about. But he's like, it's fine, we'll just fix it in post. I was like, no, we won't.
Yeah, we're still talking about Mr. Samuel. We're going to be talking about him a lot. We left him last time. Getting a calling from the Lord.
Yep.
The Lord's fixed to do some mighty things. Well, the Lord's going to get started on that. That's what we got going on here.
I told you. Now it's time to roll.
Let's go.
And basically what we're going to start with is he's going to carry out exactly what he said he was going to do to the house of Eli.
Yep.
And the
So-
Israelites.
The moral of the story before we get into this is if the God says it, he's going to do it.
It's going to happen.
Now, is God lenient sometimes and forgive? Yes, absolutely. But there comes a point where he is going to discipline and he's going to carry out exactly what he said.
There comes
you
a
can
point
see-
where fire comes from the sky.
Or he opens up the
Yeah.
ground and swallows some people. You know, that's happened. Snakes have appeared. You know,
He
just
has a limit.
he has a limit.
Yeah.
And he takes care of business. Well, we're at that limit. Well, because first of all, he's trying to get Israel's attention. He doesn't like what they're doing.
Stop me if you've heard this before.
Yeah. Well,
Brand new.
ultimately, Samuel's just another one of the judges. That's what he was.
Yep.
So we're in that same cycle that happens every time with the judges.
Yep.
Okay, but this time it's just Samuel who's going to lead them back. But the difference is at the end of Samuel, we roll right into the first king, and so things are going to change a little bit. So they're no longer led by judges, but led by kings. So I mean, theoretically, Samuel's the last judge of Israel.
Yeah.
Okay, God's going to get their attention. They have a battle. They're going up against the Philistines. They're always fighting the Philistines.
Yeah. They always
Always.
keep coming back.
All the time. And it doesn't go well. They lose the battle.
I was just looking for the number. Battle spreaders were defeated by the
Who
Philistines.
killed about
4,000 of them.
Mhm.
They lost about 4,000 Israelites. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But they had the great idea because they understood that the Lord was powerful
Yeah.
and they wanted him on their side.
Correct.
So, and it did work to a point
Yeah.
because the Philistines did become a little bit scared.
Yeah.
So what did the Israelites do? They went and got the Ark of the Covenant. Because throughout history, the Lord has moved through that Ark.
Correct.
He will continue to move that Ark for a little while. We're going to read, as you progress through Samuel and into Kings, you're going to see where that, the Lord's very particular about what happens to that Ark.
Yeah.
And so they decide, well, we're going to take it into battle with us because that's a good idea.
Yep.
And then that way, we take the Ark, the Lord will for sure be with us and help us win. So they grab the Ark, off they go, and it was, of course, Eli's sons who are kind of ringleading this.
Hophni and Phineas.
And they take the Ark, and away they go. And the Philistines hear about it, and of course, they do
Scared.
become scared because
Yep.
there have been a lot of stories around this Ark. You know
Guys,
what
we
I'm saying?
lost a lot of battles when this ark shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this time, the Lord was not with Israel. Doesn't matter if they brought the Ark or not.
I like the way the commentary put this. It says, since the Israelites had the ark, why did they lose? Israelites had a lot to learn about God. He is much bigger than the box that symbolized his presence. They could not enhance their fortunes by trying to cart him around like a good luck charm.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I thought
Carted
that
around
was
like a good luck charm.
I thought that was a good way to put that.
That's good.
Yeah, having the ark didn't necessarily mean God was on their side. The important question was, were they on God's side?
And the answer is no.
They were
Yeah.
not.
And I don't even think that crossed their minds.
No.
It's like,
No.
we get ark, we win.
Yeah.
Wrong, geniuses.
Yeah. They lose the battle. Hophni, or Eli's two sons, what's their names again? Hophnius and Phineas.
Yep.
Both die.
And
Yeah.
30,000 soldiers.
Yep,
for
and
Israel.
30,000. Yep. So a lot of people die.
A lot of people died.
Philistines win. They take the Ark too.
Yeah.
Which we're going to circle back to that in a little while because we're going to talk about that Ark.
Yeah.
Because God is not overly happy that the Philistines have it.
No.
But
And
that's
it's going to be a problem.
but that's for another podcast. Okay? Because it is pretty cool how God
Yeah.
works some situations to bring that back.
Oh, yeah.
Then Eli hears about what happened to his sons. As I said, he was kind of a bigger man.
Yep.
And basically, he fell over and broke his neck. And that was it.
Yep.
And at that point, that is like where God officially kind of set Samuel up, because he kind of took Eli's place. You know what I'm saying?
Eli was 98 years old.
98 years old. So he'd had a good run.
He led Israel for 40 years.
That was just what I was looking for. Thank you. Yeah.
40 years. So, like I said, that was the end of Eli.
Enter Samuel.
Enter Samuel. But what I really want to pull from this is that, first of all, sin is very important to make sure that you get that out of your life. Because if Eli had made some changes with his sons at the beginning or dealt with that sin, then things in his life probably would have turned out differently. Now, they didn't. God says it's going to happen. God will carry out what he says he's going to do.
Correct.
And so we have to make sure that if God says it, it will happen. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes
It's when, not if.
yeah. I think sometimes we see God, and that's why, let's back up. So that's the reason why I like these chapters sometimes, is because it reminds us of who God really is.
Mm-hmm.
Because our world wants to portray him as all love, and they forget about the judgment part.
Yeah.
And that he does have a standard that he wants us to live up to as Christians. So
Correct.
there's a difference in us.
You can't skip those books of the Bible and just take all the loved ones.
And so when you see this judgment, and I don't think that God wanted to carry... Now, you have to understand, I truly believe that God didn't want to carry out this judgment against Eli. But because of who his nature is and what he is, he had to.
Like Eli said, he is the Lord.
Let him do what is good. And so he had to carry out the judgment that was coming to Eli because of the choices that Eli made.
Yep.
Isn't that a lesson there for us?
Law of the harvest.
Yep. Because far too often I think there are sins in our own life that we just dabble in too much. And at some point it will come to roost.
Johnny Cash said it. You can run on for a long time. But sooner or later, God will cut you down.
Yeah.
Just a fact.
So
Man in Black.
keep a short list of sin. And make sure that you understand that God will do what he says, and there is a judgment and justice side to him. And I really like it's justice, not really judgment. There's a just side to God. And if he's not just, then he can't be God.
Right.
Because it is one of his many attributes. God is love, yes, but he's also just. And that's what we see here.
Yep.
And it's not like he didn't give Eli warnings. He gave Eli warnings, and he ignored them, and this is where we got to.
Yeah.
And so God carried it out and basically wiped Eli's family out and set up Samuel as the next prophet.
Next up.
Next prophet and judge of Israel.
Just like that. Next man up.
Yep. So anyway, much like I said, great example there of just who and what God is that we need to remember. And I hope you guys have a great week, and we will see you next time.